Good morning, Sedona. It is Saturday, June 1st, 2024. How did it get to be June? And this is Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks, Red Rock Country's radio magazine, heard every Saturday at this time on KAZM 106.5 FM and 780 AM Mellow Mountain Radio, and live streamed at mellowmountainradio.com. I'm your host, Stephen Hanks, and I welcome you to a radio show that each week explores all the fascinating aspects of life in Sedona and the Verde Valley and engages with intriguing personalities from all walks of life in our area. Today's show and all of my shows during June are being sponsored by an outstanding Camp Verde-based insurance agent, Karen Cole of State Farm Insurance, who throughout the Verde Valley in northern Arizona protects the things you value and the people you love. Like a good neighbor, Karen and State Farm are there. My producer behind the glass is the always reliable Ryan Thompson.
Ooh.
Right? Ryan, how were things here at the station while I was away in New York last week?
As you can see, we were under construction for a while.
I know.
Which is just me and Chuck with a bunch of hammers and...
Yeah, obviously my listeners cannot see what's going on in the station, but I will just relay to you that since Mr. Chuck Helstein took over these radio stations and called them Mellow Mountain Radio, he has been transforming in a great way everything about the station. And I'm not just saying that because he gives me the time to do this show. He's doing a great job. Ryan's doing a fantastic job. They're both great guys. And, when you're in the area, you should sort of pop by. I hope he's okay with me saying this.
Yeah.
You should pop by and, just visit. Just say, hey, I want to check out all the great stuff that's going on at the station because it really is remarkable, the transformation of this place. So, Ryan, I'm always excited before we start every episode of Red Rock Country's radio magazine, but I'm laser focused on today's show. And that's my little pun, because my lovely in-studio guest today is Anita Marcus, a medical esthetician. Did I say that right?
You did.
Yeah, I knew I was going to have trouble with that word, but it was okay. Anita is the founder and owner of LaserGirl Skincare Superhero. But before LaserGirl and I talk about how she offers sensible skincare solutions in Sedona and beyond, it's time once again for our top of the show segment, Stephen's Sedona Scene, when I tell my audience about a few fascinating events happening over the following week in Sedona and the Verde Valley. So, folks, on June 5th from 4 to 6 p.m., it's again time for Celebrate Sedona, the bi-monthly celebration of the beauty and diversity of our community's music, food, drink, and artistry. Celebrate Sedona is held in the upper parking lot of Sedona Arts Center on State Route 89A and Art Barn Road in Uptown Sedona. So check that out. There are a couple of big Sedona events coming up on Friday, June 7th. First up is First Fridays in the Galleries. On the first Friday of every month, you can immerse yourself in the work of renowned artists from Sedona and around the world. Become a part of the Sedona art scene as Sedona's finest art galleries invite you to join a special evening of openings, artist receptions, music, wine tastings, and celebrations at their galleries. Be careful about how many wine tastings you go to, or you may not make it through the whole day. You can even meet the artists in person during these delightful events. First Friday in the galleries runs from 4 to 7 p.m., so it's kind of like happy hour, although it's 3 hours. But times will vary per location. Admission is free, and everyone is welcome to attend in multiple locations in Tlaquepaque Arts and Shopping Village, Hillside Sedona, Hojo, Uptown Sedona, West Sedona at the Harkins Plaza, and the galleries throughout the village of Oak Creek. Starting this Friday, June 7th, and continuing every Friday in June, it's the Sedona Summer Cinema Series, Movies in the Park, at Posse Grounds Pavilion on 525 Posse Ground Road in West Sedona. Come join the Sedona family community for a night out at the park and enjoy a movie under the stars. Bring your own blankets, chairs, food, and beverages. Alcohol is not permitted, although obviously it's permitted at the galleries visit First Friday. In case of inclement weather, including high winds, movies will be shown indoors at the Hub, 525B Posse Ground Road. By the way, only ADA service dogs are welcome at this event. Now, the movies start at 8 p.m., but the first one this Friday will be a bit more special because the film being shown is Mamma Mia, the film version of the Broadway musical featuring the music of ABBA. Now, before the screening at 8 p.m. at 7:15, there will be a special pre-show movie soundtrack karaoke when you can sing your favorite songs from a movie live on the Posse Ground Pavilion stage. Sign-ups for performers will begin at 7 p.m. on a first-come, first-served basis, and the organizers will get as many songs in as they can before the film at 8 p.m. Sign up and sing and win fun prizes. Ryan, someone who has always been a huge ABBA fan and hits the occasional karaoke bar, I'm really tempted on this one. I don't know what I would sing, I mean, it might be Mamma Mia, here we go again. Now, my audience just tuned out, and I lost 15,000 listeners. Now, LaserGirl, are you a karaoke person?
Oh, goodness. I mean, we have a karaoke machine, but I do not.
In the office or at home?
No, at home.
If you have it in the office, I'm getting more treatments.
Okay,
right?
let's install that.
And can I like do karaoke like laying flat on one of the bed when I'm getting some eye treatment?
That depends on what your voice can support.
There you go. So you just heard a little bit of my guest in the studio. So let me officially introduce my special guest this morning on Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks. So in 2025, Anita Marcus, a.k.a. LaserGirl Skincare Superhero, will celebrate her 10th anniversary.
That is correct. As
medical esthetician and skincare business owner. Anita grew up in Oregon, moved to Hawaii for 3 years. She may tell us when that happened. And she moved to Sedona that same 1995 year she started her business. Is that right?
No, I started the business in 2015.
Oh, 2015. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anita is trained in both traditional aesthetics and medical grade modalities. In 2020, Anita won the Business of the Year award for Yavapai County from the Small Business Development Center at Yavapai College. Her LaserGirl Skincare Superhero business, and by the way, I love that name, and she is a superhero, has now 3 locations in Sedona, Flagstaff, and Prescott, where she and her staff can do the following. And listen to this, folks. They remove unwanted hair, moles, skin tags, broken capillaries, and hyperpigmentation from skin damage. They restore youthful skin, bring back rejuvenated skin and collagenated skin. They can restore hair. They can remove tattoos. They do full body waxing and chemical peels. They can even increase libido, bring back the youthful biome. Is that biome? Is
biome.
That biome in the vagina? I hope I'm allowed to say that on Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks.
It's your show.
and treat erectile dysfunction. Thankfully, I didn't have to see LaserGirl for that, but she did some treatment on my drooping upper eyelids and bags under my eyes. And if that isn't enough, she has developed her own LaserGirl product line people can use at home for beautification and restoration. And Anita is also now authorized to offer courses to certify other estheticians to operate their own laser skin treatment business. Wow. That, my friends, is a skincare superhero. Anita Marcus, welcome to Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks.
Thank you so much for having me, Stephen. I'm excited.
I am too. It's great having you here. Now, I just mentioned to my audience that you've actually treated my eyes for admittedly purely cosmetic reasons. So my first provocative question to you is this. Based on your experience in this profession, are men more vain than women?
Ooh, that's a good one. You guys just have it easier, I think. You
Yeah.
know, you can get away with a little bit more, whatever. It's becoming more and more so. I wouldn't say more vain.
Okay.
But I think men are becoming more aware.
Right.
More aware that there's treatments available to keep their youthful look. When you mentioned all the above modalities, what I like to say is we can fix what you don't like and restore what you do.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, before I get into the nuts and bolts of the business, there's another, I don't know, maybe it's a controversial question, but I wanted to get that out of the way first. So I think there's a a notion that a lot of people have about people, especially women, getting facial treatments and Botox over the last 20 years has become such a big thing. And there's a lot of judgment on the part of people about women who have gotten a lot of treatments. Like when you see celebrities, like you're watching the Oscars, and a celebrity comes up there who may be in their 60s or whatever, and the first thing somebody might say if you have a little Oscar party, oh my God, look how much work they've had done. You know, and I remember living in New York, people would say that about wealthy women on the east side of Manhattan. You walk down the street and everybody looked like they were Botox to the teeth. So I guess I have a couple of questions based on that. One, is there a way that you can get those treatments without it being so obvious that you've had it? And are there people who end up becoming addicted to constantly getting treatments done?
Wow, we could spend the whole hour on this,
I know,
actually.
but,
Yeah. Our culture definitely has a stigma surrounding, and that's changing with the advent, all the social media and all that. Let's see, I want to divide this into questions here.
Okay.
Dysmorphia is real. Yes, addiction happens, bad work happens. But with the evolution of the medical aesthetics field, there's a lot of things that can be done naturally.
Right.
Even plastic surgeons, there's one I particularly follow. His name is Dr. Anthony Ewan. He calls himself the holistic plastic. And upon losing a patient after a facelift, he reanalyzed his business and thought, wait a minute, is going to the knife the right, the first chain of events?
That must have been pretty traumatic.
I would think so.
Yeah.
So he started researching into the energy treatments that I provide. And actually, he's got great YouTube videos for home care people to research. At any rate, it's just made great strides. So nowadays, Botox has a 50-plus year history of safety. Mm-hmm. So when in the right hands and, with a safe, good injector, nowadays people are wanting a very natural look. They don't want to look stretched and done. So there's so many things that can be done to prevent the need for a facelift. Our work is very natural. Yeah. So, it does require consistency, and it's like going to the gym. You have to, it's not a one and done. Right. Even a facelift, you're going to have to maintain the quality of your skin health. And what's happening in America that other countries are so far ahead of us, the Koreans, the Europeans, they don't wait for problems to develop. They start in their youth doing things for skincare. So that's part of my whole mission, is to educate people. Don't wait. Don't put your self-care off until you have a huge problem to fix. Start doing it in your younger years. You won't get those big problems.
So when you say they do things when they're younger, what are some examples of the things they do?
Just starting off in the 20s, if you start using quality skincare, even the product. Right. But the act of massaging the face is stimulating collagen production in a gentle way, but you're activating those muscles. So aging is not just your skin sagging, it's muscle, it's bone density. So there's so many things to consider. And if you start addressing it in your 20s and 30s, by the time you're 50, you have way less of a battle to overcome. Right. Yeah.
Is there a way to know whether or not, when you look at yourself in the mirror, and you see that your skin is in pretty good shape, no matter what age you are, do you necessarily make the leap that you're just lucky that you had good genes, or does this kind of stuff happen to everybody eventually?
I mean, genetics play a part, absolutely, and there's something to be grateful for sure. But, again, even if you have the most rapid metabolism, if you're not active, your body's your muscles can atrophy, things can happen, right? So it's the same with your face. Even if genetically you're blessed, if you don't kind of maintain and preserve, things can fall, things can start looking bad. And unfortunately, our culture, for some reason, I don't really know why. If this is an interesting thing I'd like to research, but maybe depression related,
definitely, yeah.
Genetic memory or something. But people have a stigma about taking care of themselves. Yeah. They have a lot of guilt. I tell people all the time, hey, you know what? People are not going to remember your outfit. They're going to remember your skin and your hair. So don't think of this expense as a wasted money. Yes, it does add up. It's worth it
Yeah,
People
definitely.
will remember.
So the first time I came to your Sedona office, which, by the way, is located at 1865 State Route 89A in the heart of West Sedona, just to get that out there. We'll mention that again later. I was really impressed and intrigued by all the different machines you had in there. I remember commenting on it as soon as I was in your office, like, whoa, this is like unbelievable. You've got, and you can correct my numbers if I'm wrong, you've got more than 20 specialized machines in your office, and you and your staff can specialize in all kinds of restorative and beautifying aesthetic treatments. And I've read that you've said that it took years of research and traveling to trade shows to accumulate these expensive and effective machines. Without getting too much into the weeds, tell us about all that skincare technology and what those machines do.
Okay. Yeah, at this point, we literally have every technology to date that's on the aesthetic market. We stay abreast of that. One thing I do want to just say, just a one-liner, one big confusion. I'm happy to sort this for anybody. There's so much information out there when in reality, the light spectrum is the light spectrum. Okay. And radio frequency, ultrasound, these energies, these are these energies. So that being said, one of our missions, I guess, is to help debunk the confusion. What's this brand name treatment as opposed to what is actually the technology? So to that end, as you mentioned, we've been doing the trade shows. My partner's electrical engineer. And so we are now sourcing and branding our own machines. We now have LaserGirl machines,
Right.
With the highest outputs, with the most efficacy. So what these machines can do, activate your cellular metabolism and speed it up, stimulating collagen, elastin, lifting, tightening, firming, face, body, as you mentioned earlier, removing stuff you don't want, hair, all the above. We've got it all.
Right. So let's get into a really interesting, another provocative topic.
I'm ready.
I don't. So I think you, when you messaged me, you called it sexual rejuvenation techniques for men and women. So tell us a little bit about what comes under that category, the different treatments that come under that category. What percentage of women and men do you get that want your services for those kind of things, and just how effective they can be?
Yeah, actually, it's one of the funnest parts of what I do. My text messages are awesome, and
are there photos involved?
No,
Okay.
But I've had the joy of having more than one, actually multiple couples, say that it really helped their relationship.
Really?
So yeah. Most known brand-wise out there is the Mona Lisa treatment. That's a vaginal rejuvenation treatment that will restore that youthful biome, bringing back collagen, elastin, and circulation to the area. When that happens, women who pee when they sneeze, that kind of thing, it helps that. Moisture, sensitivity, all the above.
Why do they call it Mona Lisa treatment?
Good question. That's a branding. So that's
okay.
marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Just that's something people are familiar with. Just recently, I was on a podcast with doctors from Florida. Their business name is Skin and Tonic. We do the similar treatment for males, and rather than calling it ED, we refer to it as performance. So I use a gentle laser. It's a no-touch service, and it restores. Actually, it can do a lot. I'll stop right there. I'll leave you hanging.
You know, I find it really interesting about the phraseology or what you call it, because that's a lot. That's something they do a lot in politics. You know, they change language to make it sound like a certain thing. Even in society, you know, where we used to say somebody who's retarded, now they're mentally challenged, or you know, so having a word like dysfunction is so negative,
right,
and freaks people out to the point where, you know, maybe they'd even need treatment that they don't really need. You know what I mean? They want treatment they don't really need. So do you find that, like, trying to get that erectile dysfunction name out of the lexicon is working?
Yeah, absolutely, because who doesn't want better performance, right? It's a key part of our happiness in life. So actually, that was something that I benefited talking to those doctors, because by them renaming what they do, they call theirs the P wave. That's performance. So rather than looking at it as you have a problem. Oh no, let's just make this better.
Right.
And then there's sometimes our problems. Like there's a condition called Peyronie's that the laser will fix.
Really?
Yep. So it can overcome some actual issues, but it can also make anybody better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's been the reaction, like locally, and people in Sedona that get this treatment? Has it been like really positive? How long did the treatments go if you need it for some, whether it's a male or female, for some sexual issue?
I'm going to say two things on that.
Okay.
I'm a little bit different than other practitioners. A lot of practitioners will prescribe a series and absolutely stick to that.
Right.
I'm a believer in, let's see how your results are if you need another. So this is for women. Okay?
Right.
Sometimes one vaginal rejuvenation, it's a CO2 laser, will suffice. They may want to do it again the following year. For men, a series of 6. It's a less expensive treatment. I see them every week to 2 weeks, depending on our schedule. And then we revisit if needed. So the kind of feedback that I've gotten is so fun. I've had 2 couples say, I saved their marriage. Like literally they were on the verge of divorce and they started coming together. One couple made it there.
You're like a therapist at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A therapist with machines.
Yeah, exactly. One couple made it their their Friday night date night for his treatments.
Right.
And it was just fun, and to see it's so rewarding. Just so rewarding.
So on the vaginal rejuvenation, like what, I hope this isn't asking you to get into the weeds and too technical, but what specifically do you do that helps that change?
So it's a CO2 laser that does have a vaginal insert probe.
Okay.
It's 10,600 nanometers in the skin. It's attracted to water. So the mucosa membranes absorb that. Basically, it's thermal injury. And I like to say with all of the modalities, basically, we're using thermal injury of one sort or another. And we're like oysters. We respond to irritation. So what happens is controlled injury, the body says, oh my God, it rises to high alarm and starts creating fibroblast activity, more collagen, more elastin, all the things we need to keep that youthful state of skin.
Right.
So internally is really interesting because that laser is attracted to water, the mucosa membrane, you really don't feel pain. Mm-hmm. Externally, I will also do the CO2 on the labia itself. And nobody tells you that the elevator is going down everywhere.
Right.
That will restore an uplift and also even color discoloration problems.
Wow. So I would really be remiss if I didn't bring up a topic that is really relevant to where we live, which is sun.
Yes.
And we're now in June and everybody's going to be out. I mean, even in Sedona, you can get burned any time of year, depending on how the weather's.
I just did. I went to the
Really?
Grand Canyon with a tourist friend and I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot to reapply. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, really. So, I mean, my experience in life real quickly, I've had 2 episodes where I've had major burns. One when I was, I think, 11, where I got so badly burned that I had 3rd-degree burns on my shoulders and back, and I was laid up in bed for a week, which the only upside of that was that I spent the whole week in bed listening to pop music on the radio and became a big fan of a lot of groups because I had nothing else to do. And another time when I think 20 or 21, I was in Florida, and it was the last day of a baseball trip that my New York college team went on. And right before we got on the bus to go back to New York, we had a couple hours to just hang out at the beach for a last little fun thing. But it was cloudy.
Oh, you don't think that?
And I was out there and I got so badly burned, I could not sit in this bus seat. I had to come home on the rack, on the luggage rack, because I couldn't have my back against anything. So I'm totally scared of being out in the sun too long.
Yeah.
Use tons of sunscreen. So with all that set up, what's your advice? How much do you see people and work with them on sunburn type of stuff?
Yeah, actually, Flagstaff is second to Australia for skin cancer. And to the very
Because
reason,
of sun?
Yes, because of what you just said. When it's cloudy, people perceive that they're not getting burned, but the UV rays are actually intensified.
Absolutely. Yep.
Plus, we have here elevation, dry. There's no humidity to kind of provide any barrier. So yeah, we're at high risk. Everyone should be wearing 40 plus, reapply every 2 hours. Yes, me included.
Yeah.
Floppy hat if you're out. Maybe it's not that cute, but if you want to preserve your skin, it's necessary.
Now,
here.
what can you do in your business for people that have burns that may come to you with that? What can you do? Anything?
We of course we wait for the burn to resolve, but then the leftover sun damage with the hyperpigmentation that can result, we can address that with IPL and BBL.
What are those?
Intense pulse light and broadband light.
Okay.
So what that is, those I'm going to use a couple technical words, but their chromophore is pigmentation. So what they do is it's different light spectrum that targets that pigmentation, shatters it, the body will absorb it or kick it out, leaving the surrounding tissue intact. Well, at the same time, giving you a little collagen boost.
Right.
So it's a great treatment. Not super safe for summertime unless you are like me, generally a vampire.
Right.
So that kind of treatment we would normally begin in the fall. However, there are other treatments. Our clear and brilliant laser is a wavelength that is safe year-round. It's safe even for African-American skin all the way. So that is a great one for year-round, all kinds of damage, shrinks pores, fine lines and wrinkles, and can help that pigment, melasma. We can do chemical peels that are safe year-round. So there are solutions, even now, but we're very, very careful, myself, my staff, to custom curate, take a Fitzpatrick, which is skin typing, to make sure we're applying the proper energy for the proper skin type.
Right. So when you do this with people that have had the sun damage, it doesn't necessarily make you any less resistant in the future to getting burnt if you don't have enough sunscreen.
No, you can't really prevent.
Yeah, it just gets it back to health a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So so I want to talk to you about some other topics that we had discussed before the show, but I need to acknowledge my sponsor right now, and that is my terrific sponsor all through the month of June is Karen Cole, a State Farm insurance agent based in Camp Verde. I'm sure everyone out there would agree that it feels good when we make the right decision, like when you choose the perfect song for a special moment, or when you choose to have a good night's rest after a hectic day, or when you see LaserGirl for any of your skincare issues. It's all good. As good as making the right choice on insurance. That's why Karen Cole is a State Farm agent and serves the Verde Valley in northern Arizona to help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. Karen will explain everything about your coverage with State Farm so you know what to expect if the unexpected happens. With Karen Cole, it's easy to make the right decision. And I know that because Karen handles my home insurance. She is one insurance agent who is all about protecting the things you value and the people you love. So contact Karen at www.kcoleinsurance.com or call 928-567-3374. Like a good neighbor, Karen Cole and State Farm are there. So let's talk about some of the... You're involved in a lot of philanthropic endeavors. Tell us a little, and scholarship programs for people that want to get in the business. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I feel like along my journey, I've received a lot of help myself. My first two investors were my medical doctor and my kid psychologist. That two women, and they believed in me. We bought my first machine. That being said, I definitely want to pay that back. I also received a scholarship from the Sedona Women's Group, and now my school is able to accept that scholarship as well. So annually, what I plan to do, and I have one set up in Colorado to date, at my own expense, I took a machine up to north of Denver, Windsor, to a friend of mine who wants to get into the business. She's a single mom of 3. And the end goal is that she can make enough money with a Class 3 laser, which requires no special licensing to perform in her state, to then come to my school and get the full arsenal, get the full training, and get her licensure. So I'll be doing that annually, things like that. I'm very involved with the Verde Valley Sanctuary. I try to do a fundraiser for them annually as well, and definitely attend the ones that they're putting out there. So yeah, I'm also a collaborator. I do believe that not in competition, but in collaborating, sharing ideas. The fact is, everyone has a face and a body, so there's enough to go around.
Right.
Let's help each other, support each other, and the high tide raises all boats. So, yeah.
So now that you're at a point where you're training people that want to be in this field, let's do a little flashback, and especially since it could be an inspiration for anyone who is looking to get into this profession. How you got into this? How did this all start for you?
Well, okay, these are going to be cliff notes, of course.
Yeah.
So myself, I suffered some damage. I was looking for a career change anyway.
Right.
So I had started my nursing school prerequisites. Thank you, COVID nurses. I'm very glad that I did not finish that degree. With my own personal sunburn that happened in the Grand Canyon.
Right.
I researched that IPL and BBL that I was speaking to you about. I went and got that treatment, and it was so magical. I was like, wait a minute, this seems like a lot more fun than wiping sick people's rear ends.
Yeah.
So therefore, to that end, I'm now wiping healthy rear ends often. The other, on a personal note, I had a very interesting background that created this necessity for me as a single mom to find a way to support myself.
Right.
And it's just been one magical thing after the other.
Yeah. And so, but I would imagine my daughter, as I've told you, is a dietitian nutritionist, and she started a career in a clinic in New York a couple of years ago. She's actually been a professional since graduating for a few years now. But this is the kind of profession, like any, frankly, where you're constantly having to educate yourself about new procedures, new equipment, new ways of doing things. Is that self-education a constant for you?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm a total nerd. That's all I do all weekend is playing with our machines.
How hard is it to find time to do that self-education when you're so busy in the practice?
It's changing a little bit. I'm extricating myself to some degree. I now have awesome staff. My girl Adriana in Flagstaff has 17 years experience. Maya is a steel trap. She's an encyclopedia of knowledge. Brilliant. She can run the whole show while I'm away.
Does she work in the Sedona office?
She's in Sedona. Yeah. Zoe works in Sedona and Prescott. She's excellent as well. She's one of my certified team members. So what I'm trying to do is pull away a little bit and, yes, continue the education, work on developing the school. I'm a little space restricted. We're working on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, since this radio broadcast can get out to Prescott and maybe all the way up to northern Arizona, it's good for the listeners to know that you have 3 different offices that they can avail themselves of. So that's really great. What's the latest office opening? Is that the Flag office?
Flagstaff opened in February, and we are right across from Dark Sky Brewery.
Okay.
So you'll see our little lit up neon sign in the beautiful historical building there. And again, Adriana really knows her stuff. She's worked with a plastic surgeon in Scottsdale for a number of years, and her specialty is the Morpheus treatment, which is radiofrequency microneedling, one of the most effective tools for lower face, jowling, and tightening up the neck. Yes.
Is that what so that raises the question of all the the clients that you see that come to get service from you, what is the number 1, number 2 procedures that they're looking to do?
That's a tough one because one thing that
does depend on the age of the person.
And the skin condition. But one thing that separates us is we custom curate, and we basically stack modules. So we have 3 tiers of facials. One is just a basic. We can do that. Our superhero facial is kind of a mid-tier where we'll either include an IPL, take off the skin tags, broken capillaries. We kind of shop your face, and that's a $350 service. You usually end up saving about $200 if you were to cherry pick. Our higher tier facial will add in HIFU or Morpheus or fibroblast, cold jet plasma. Make it specific to what you need. If it's pigment that's your problem, we throw that in. If it's redness that's your problem, we work on that. All of the above.
That's great. Now, I also understand that you've launched a skincare line, or you're in the process. I'm not sure when this all started and where it's going, what exactly. So tell us a little bit about what's going on there.
So we have an umbrella company now. We've trademarked Own Your Youth. And then our current home care devices are M-Youth, which is a 3-piece home care device system that includes red light therapy. The under the chin strap has actually 6 different light modalities, along with EMS, which is electromuscle stimulation. Basically, these devices will do your facial yoga at home. Used regularly, the effects are tremendous. What we've solved, the reason we put this together, is there are a lot of good home care devices. And actually, home care plays a key part in what do I want to say, prolonging your results. You come see me or Maya or Adriana or Zoe, wait 3 months. In between, that's a lot of days. So if you're doing stuff at home, you're going to keep that elevated and keep working on it. But the problem with the home care devices is, like, most of us get, let's say, a piece of gym equipment and it sits in the garage after a honeymoon period. These guys, you can pop them on, just like our headphones. You can pop them on. They do the work while you're doing your laundry or doing your workout or whatever. Right. So people are more inclined to keep them in use. Right. So that's that. The other thing we just brought into market is our BioPen, exclusive to us. It also has EMS, red light, blue light, and it's a microneedling pen that is safe for home use. There's a lot out there on the market, and it's really scary because you can do harm and you can denature your collagen if you're doing it inappropriately. So we give a thorough tutorial on how you can safely keep your skin healthy at home. I would think that you need to really know how to use this. I mean, just the idea of taking something like that home and trying to, use it on yourself. Daunting. Yeah. I mean, it's a little scary. I would rather spend the money and see you. Okay, all right, that works. Plus, I love seeing you. There you go. By the way, you can when you see Anita at her practice, whether it's Sedona or do you work in the other ones or just? I work Prescott because I worked with Dr. Fetter for 6.5 years, so I have an established reputation and clientele there. LaserGirl Superhero has a great bedside manner, or is bedside the right word? Probably. Maybe a little goofy. And you can get into some great conversations, and you'll probably end up spilling a lot of personal secrets. They'll stay safe with me, I promise. There you go. So we were talking a little bit before about you working with other budding estheticians, and I know you're training them so they might be able to operate their own business eventually. Yes. Do you think that you're creating competition by doing this? Well, that's a really good question, and believe me, that is something that is present in my mind right now. I have a very strict conscience. I personally feel that when I went to laser school, out of the 30 women that I went to school with, 2 were able to use their license. The reason for that is you're not going to get paid that much if you're employed. Right. Or you have to purchase $150,000 worth of equipment. So pre-COVID, I had a whole franchise idea. I've kind of shifted that direction. No, I do not want to flood Northern Arizona with laser techs that can't use their license. So if they're local to me, they either need their own setup, they have to be able to afford to get into the business, or I need to be able to employ them. That's my conscience. Now, Arizona offers reciprocity, so we are going to start, as we increase our spatial requirements, we're going to start advertising nationally. Wow. So that will be a better, revenue stream for the business, but also appeal to other states. There's some states that will not allow people, but Michigan's an easy one. They can come to Arizona, get a license. Who doesn't want to come to Sedona to get a certification? Right. So, that'll definitely be something happening within the next 6 months. I mean, this may be tough to answer because it, I guess, depends on how extensive you want your business to be. But what kind of, to have a business like you have, let's say just the Sedona office with all the machines, what kind of investment would somebody need to make if they want to launch into being in this business? Good question. And we'll work with people depending on their needs.
And obviously, it's an ongoing investment.
Yeah.
It's not like all the money up front.
Absolutely.
You got to grow, but
We can do a lease package,
Right.
or we can do 3 machines for $75,000.
Right.
Because we are doing our direct sourcing, our entry point is going to be a lot more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
That's also reflected in our customer pricing. So sometimes people think, oh, you're a little bit less expensive. Why? You might not have the best. Oh, we have the best. We have better than the best. We have some pre-market stuff that others don't have. So that's not to be, that sounded, I'm not competitive that way, but because again, Martin's skills and mine together, it's kind of this dynamic duo now that's taken on a life of its own.
And Martin is?
He's my partner.
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's the microwave engineer, electrical engineer that I mentioned.
And you pulled them into this operation once you got together?
Yeah, why we didn't do that sooner, I don't know. It's amazing. Our home care devices, thanks to him, have higher outputs than the rest of the things you can find on the market.
Right.
Everything that we do, whether it's our PMF mats that we're selling, the quality control is very high standard. So, yeah.
And Martin, I know you're listening, so I just wanted to tell you have very good taste in partners, and I hear you're Facebook living this, so I hope that works out. So when I go to your website and I look at the menu and then I do the drop downs on the services, it to me uninitiated, it looks like you pretty much do everything from soup to nuts. I could be wrong about that. But do most people want to do it that way, or are there people that in this profession that just specialize in, oh, I just do faces, I just do this, I just do, chins or body? How does the business break down that way?
I think we all get pretty excited about the possibilities. So even other medical estheticians and estheticians are implementing a lot of these technologies and treatments.
Right.
Because who doesn't want to improve head to toe, right?
Yeah.
As for the client, what we prefer to do to eliminate confusion is we offer what we call a full laser consultation. And what that means is a 75-minute service where you come in, we explain all of the technology. We examine your skin. We tell you, okay, this is what you need to do. Takes the burden off the consumer to be like, oh, I want a clear and brilliant, or oh, I want a fractional CO2, when that might not be the best thing for them.
So do you get people that just walk in and say, listen, I know I need something done, but I don't know why. Can you please tell me?
That's actually our favorite, to do that and custom curate. And of course, we get the clients that have been getting certain services for a number of years. They want the Fraxel treatment. Okay, we go right to that. Or they know they want an IPL or a BBL. We go right to that. The Morpheus, easy. People are custom. That's fine. But our real set apart is you come to me and I say, oh, we can do this here and this there and that, and let's fix it all up.
Right, fix it all up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you get people like return customers where they come in for a specific treatment? Like I came to you because I just didn't like the way I looked slitty-eyed in my photos, and so I needed some upper eyelid work. Do you get people that come in specifically for something like that, and then months and months later, they're popping in for something else?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They usually, it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well, that also tells you that, people like your work, and if they're coming back, you're the go-to person around here. Are there some people that just specialize in the sexual dysfunction treatments?
That's a good question.
I would think that would be something that, yeah.
Yeah, I'd really like to kind of push that because it's again so rewarding.
Yeah.
Also, I've been working with our nurse practitioner, Justine. She offers the O shot as well as hormone therapy. So there's a lot that can be done for individuals, for couples, partners together or separately, to just amplify that part of your life. It's quality of life.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you get involved with guys who need testosterone treatment? Yes,
and that's her department where she will.
Oh, okay.
So actually, men are getting pellets now.
Okay, okay, on the testosterone treatments, does the person need to obviously take some kind of blood test to see what the levels are from their from their doctor.
Yep.
And then they come to you when the doctor tells them you need to get shots.
Exactly.
That's the way. Okay.
Yeah.
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 And how long do those treatments usually go? I mean, what's the average that
It
guys
depends on which direction you go. There's,
because there's 2 testosterone levels, right?
you know what?
The free and the
We're getting into not my field.
right.
But she's out.
My
she's
listeners
really
out there
good.
going, he's talking about this, so he must be going through it himself.
Hey, you're on the air. You're exposing yourself.
There are no secrets on Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks. Just anything that's allowed to go on the air, we can talk about. So there were, when you came in this morning to the studio, you had some things that you wanted to focus on. So now's a good time to.
I think we kind of touched on
That can't be possible. I'm not that good an interviewer.
Oh, yeah, you are. What I did want to share, I mean, I just get a lot out of this, and it might sound trite, but so many people are doing home research, right? Which can actually present a challenge to a practitioner.
A double-edged sword.
Yeah, because they think they, know. And a lot of people are really well researched.
I mean, a lot of people did that during COVID.
Of course.
So.
Yeah. I kind of talked about one of them, but there are some really great surgeons on YouTube that they are so generous with their informational videos. And I love them because specifically the ones that endorse energy treatments in tandem with or
surgery,
before
yeah.
surgery. Yeah, try this first. That being said, I will mention to our locals that Dr. Fetter in Prescott is a gifted plastic surgeon, a local plastic surgeon. A lot of people feel they need to go to the valley to get something done. I will say I was his last rhinoplasty. I'm extremely proud of it, but he's a hand specialist. So for blepharoplasties, beautiful work and great bedside manner. So I worked with him for the last 6.5 years. I cannot speak highly enough of him. If you find yourself needing that. Is that pretty much kind of what
I'm glad you brought up rhinoplasty because it occurs to me that would be one of the top tier procedures that people want to do. Obviously, you don't do that, but do you find yourself recommending people get that when they see you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty often.
Yeah, unfortunately for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other good surgeons, but
is there an age on the upper age range where it starts becoming a little risky to get any kind of procedure, whether it's stuff you do or surgery?
Our procedures, if we're typing your skin properly, are pretty low risk, actually. We're pretty non-invasive. My most invasive would be a fractional CO2, otherwise known as a Fraxel. The Morpheus can be intense as well. Most skin types can manage that, so long as there isn't too much pigmentation already in the skin. Right. That being said, probably that's a question for a surgeon. With surgery, there's always a risk.
Sure.
So
yeah,
that's why, again, these kind of preliminary, let's keep it healthy, let's try to avoid, if possible, the knife, keep it more natural, is a good place to start.
Well,
anyway.
And that's one of the reasons I've decided to go to you about my little eye issue than, go to get some surgery done. Because the fear is, and I'm sure there are a lot of great surgeons who can do, that kind of work, but you hear and see so many horror stories that it can be concerning about going that route for the eyes. Because it's one thing to not want to look slitty-eyed in pictures. It's another thing to not want to look like your eyes are bugging out of your head.
Or blind.
Right, exactly.
I will say one really neat thing I had a woman, there's a lot of white paper research about how IPL and BBL can resolve dry eye.
And what's that again?
That's the intense pulse light or broadband light.
Right.
Can help with dry eye. So I had a woman come to me and she had gotten... it was a good-looking blepharoplasty, but she couldn't close her eye all the way. And I said, well, let's try this. There's a lot of white paper research. I can't guarantee. She texted me the next day. She said, I slept through the night. I can close my eyes.
Oh, that's great.
So,
that's great.
There's things, too, that can help. If there's some bad outcomes, I can alleviate scarring, stretch marks on that note. But, yeah, there's things that can be done to help. fix.
So you were telling me a little bit something about that seemed really exciting about recently filming an episode of a reality show. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so in March, Martin and I were on The Blocks. Well, it will air September, October, I believe. The Blocks is a TV show for entrepreneurs. It's kind of like a Shark Tank, not quite as intense. They don't humiliate you, which is good. That was fun. We flew to Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a 6-day deep dive. 1925. And there was actually another local that was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Made a lot of connections, carrying some skincare lines that I learned about there.
And that's an Amazon Prime
It will be
series?
Amazon Prime.
It will be
called The Blocks. So
it hasn't been on the air yet?
My season, no.
No, you're
okay. I'm season 14, so they've been around a long time.
Okay,
yeah.
Obviously got by me because I didn't know about it.
I wouldn't say it's the most entertaining to watch unless you are kind of into doing it. But now that I look back, I'm like, wow, that's really cool, his whole structure of what he's doing. And once again, the connections that put me in touch with these doctors in Florida. Now we're doing podcasts together. There's a lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
And unless I'm missing something, maybe I'm a little dense, but what is Blocks, BLOX, supposed to stand for as the title of the series?
I knew you would ask me at least one question that I
you
did
didn't
not know.
Okay,
Keep them coming. I don't.
This would be a great reason to get my listeners to start responding to the show. If you know what Blocks is supposed to stand for, if anybody out there from Amazon is listening, let us know. You can let us know at Steven@mellowmountainradio.com is the email address. But that's pretty exciting. Do you know when the episode's on?
I believe it will be this fall.
That's great.
Like October. Yeah.
That's great. Will that time up with anything special that you're doing that you can use as promotion to?
Oh, we'll make sure.
Yeah.
you might have to be involved with that.
Yeah. One of the things also that Anita does, and sometimes I just like calling her LaserGirl instead of Anita, but she's doing a show, so I want to call you by your name. One of the things that she does at her practice in Sedona is have the occasional open house.
Oh, and I really want to thank this community because, oh my
those are so
goodness,
fun.
We have such a great turnout every time.
Yeah.
It turns in, fun. And what also has been fun is people that don't know each other.
It's a great networking
that
opportunity
have so much
too.
in common,
Yeah.
end up making like fast friends. So the very last one that I hosted, we brought in 2 special guests, 3 actually. One, met her at the Blocks. She does a fermented beet kvass. And she actually has her product at our Interdependence Market.
Nice.
I'm going to be carrying it now too. It's for gut health. So a lot of our practice also involves
That's a really important thing.
internal
now,
health.
Gut health. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other woman, she's a local. She's actually an astrophysicist. Her business is called Mycomedic. Her product line is scrumptious, and we are carrying that now. It's based all on food grade mushrooms. So
Wow.
her little byline is, there's a mushroom for that. So, I mean, her topicals are just like liquid silk. So that sets us apart. We're very unique. We do carry medical grade brands as well. There's that demographic that wants that really fast,
Right.
super effective. And we carry a Korean line that's just wonderful too.
Do you carry any like male enhancement stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I source a edible from Turkey.
Oh, wow.
That is pretty much 100% satisfaction guaranteed. 30 minutes prior, you're doing good.
Oh, my goodness. So you get that product, and you probably don't need to see LaserGirl for the sexual enhancement procedure.
Yes.
Or maybe they go hand in hand.
Or you can do both.
That's great.
When is too much, too much.
Exactly. So we're getting close to the end. Is there any other topic that you feel like you wanted to cover that you want to let people know? Well, I think you should let people know a little bit about details about when the practices are open, when they can see you, how they get a hold of you. Tell us.
Okay, yes. Are we done?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. We have online booking. You can book the girls, Adriana, Maya, and Zoe. If it's me, Generally speaking, I respond to texts, emails, so forth.
The website address is?
The website address is lasergirlskin.com.
Right.
We are definitely working on an improvement on that. So I apologize. It's not quite up to snuff, but there's quite a bit of education there.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of information, especially, like I said before, the soup to nuts procedures that you offer.
Yep.
I mean, there's not much that you can think of about an area of your skin or your body that you're not really covering.
Even toenail fungus.
Wow, that's good to know. I am now trying to think of something that I really need.
I just had a client the other day. She said that. She's like, it's like I can't pick it from the shopping list. There's so much to do.
What if somebody? This just occurred to me because as somebody who's played baseball forever, I got into a situation a number of years ago where I scraped my knee sliding, one of my knees sliding in a certain area. And every time I slide into a base, it reopens up, even when it feels like it's healed. And yeah, I put something on it because now I know that I can injure it. But if somebody gets like a scab that they can't get rid of or it won't heal right, do you have anything for something like that?
I'd have to see it, but yeah, there are things that can help to strengthen the skin.
Yeah,
definitely. Like I mentioned before, scarring we can handle.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. That's great. So this has really been incredible conversation. I really enjoyed talking to you.
I'm so honored
about
to be
all
here.
This stuff, and I can't believe, given the conversations that we've had in your office, we had anything left to talk about.
I know, right?
So. I just want to tell my listeners that they should definitely check out LaserGirl Skincare Superhero for anything they need in skincare. She's great. I want to thank again my main sponsor. Well, first I should thank my sponsor and do another spot for her. Where is that? Folks, switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on lights, we switch TV channels, we sometimes switch up the foods we eat. But did you know that you can switch your insurance and also save with State Farm? In fact, State Farm agent Karen Cole, who serves the Verde Valley in northern Arizona, can switch your insurance coverage, whether home or auto, so you can start saving today. Karen and her team based in Camp Verde are ready to welcome anyone in the Sedona and Verde Valley area to the State Farm neighborhood. With Karen Cole, it's easy to switch and save. Just contact her at www.kcoleinsurance.com or call her at 928-567-3374. When you want the real deal, Karen will protect the things you value and the people you love. And like a good neighbor, Karen Cole and State Farm are there. Thanks again to my main man and producer, Ryan Thompson, and my show sponsor for the entire month of June, Karen Cole of State Farm Insurance based in Camp Verde. You'll want Karen as your agent because she protects the things you value and the people you love. By the way, tell your friends who couldn't hear the show today that they can listen to a podcast version anytime on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can also find Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks on Facebook and Instagram. And you can email me with comments and questions to stephen@mellowmountainradio.com. Thanks for listening to Red Rock Radios. I'm losing my mind here. Red Rock Country's radio magazine. Next, I'm still, by the way, everybody, I usually have a guest set up for the following week. I'm still working on my next week's guest, so it will be a surprise. So look at Facebook and Instagram for the promotions on who will be the guest for next week's show. I want to thank everybody for listening to Red Rock Country's Radio Magazine. I want to thank once again Anita Marcus of LaserGirl Skincare Superhero. Catch you again next Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.